Hi, everybody, and welcome once again. I'm Dr. Chris. We're here with another new series. We actually have 8 lessons in this new project, and it's something which I hope you'll really enjoy. I've been really looking forward to doing this with you. And the title of these is to ignite your piano playing. What does that mean? Well, my mission really is to, through the next few weeks, is to help you develop your piano playing and your performance in particular. And I'm going to ask you to learn a few new pieces. We're going to do a few new things together and hopefully work on a few things that if you're just working by yourself, you may not necessarily experiment with. I'm going to try and introduce you to a few new things that will hopefully give you a lot of enjoyment, first of all, and a lot of skill as well. That's the idea. And also, we're very lucky with this new series. We're working with one of our partners. We're working with the Associated Board of the Royal Schools of Music, or better known as the ABRSM. ABRSM have been around actually for over 100 years, and they are a driving force in music education, not just the piano, but in all areas of music education. The ABRSM do a lot of great things. One of those, of course, is music exams. They hold worldwide music exams. And we're very lucky because they've actually given us the chance to use some of their materials in our lessons in this series. So I'll tell you a bit more about that. Now, mentioned sort of doing new things with you and maybe introducing you to a few new concepts that you wouldn't otherwise do. What we're going to do first today is we're actually going to do a little bit of music composition. Okay, if you've ever thought, oh, I'd really like to learn how to write my own music, but I don't know where to get started. Well, today we're going to have a little bit of an exercise. Okay, so make sure your piano or your keyboard is switched on, ready to go, um, and try this with me. Okay, what we're going to do is, first of all, we need to find a few notes. We've got 5 notes to find. Okay, so find those with me and say the letter names. We need to find C, D, E, G, and A. Okay, so here we are again. I'll take it a little bit slower. Try this. C, D, E, G, and A. Okay? Alright, do these one more time. C, D, E. Don't play the next note along. We don't need that one. We need G and A. Got them? Good. Okay. So actually, if we were going to look at this as written music, they would look like this on screen. There you go. All right, so we have those 5 notes. Now, what I've actually shown you there is what's called a pentatonic scale. Pent, of course, think of pentagon, for example, the 5-sided shape. Pentagon and pentatonic. Pentatonic, of course, meaning a 5 notes, what we call a scale. Okay, pentatonic scales are used throughout music, not only in uh, sort of world music, in Chinese music, Japanese music, a lot of music from that particular part of the world. We also use pop music an awful lot in the folk music of England and Scotland and Ireland. And also we use pentatonic scales in pop music as well. You'll find them all over the place. They are really useful to be able to know and to be able to play. So you've got your 5-note scale that we're going to do. Okay, so we've just gone through those 5 notes. Now what I want you to do actually is to experiment with this. Okay, so you've got your 5 notes. Now if we played those again, if we play C, D, E, G and A, well, yeah, you can start to play around with them a little bit, can't we? We can go. And what made that quite interesting was the fact that some notes were a little bit longer than others. We had a bit of variation in rhythm. So with that in mind, I have a rhythm for you here. Okay. All right. Now, we've been doing a lot of reading in previous series, so hopefully by now, if we look at that, you will be able to work out what that is. Should we just try and read that rhythm first of all? Okay, so we're going to read from left to right. Okay, you'll see here I've actually put a G clef at the beginning of the music. Technically, I don't really need it because it's actually a rhythm, but I just thought I'd put it there just to remind you about what that G clef is. But we're going to have a go and read this rhythm together. So first of all, can you find, looking at that piece of music, can you find a note that lasts for 2 beats? Okay, 2-beat note. Okay, well, yeah, there is one, isn't there? The 2-beat note at the end. Here it is. In the English system, we call that a minim. You may know that as a half note, but essentially it's a 2-beat note, like one of those. And next one, can you find me a 1-beat note? Well, there are quite a few, aren't there? For example, here's one right at the beginning. That's a 1-beat note. And just one other thing we need to clear up, and that is these two here. What are these called? Well, you may know those as quavers, or you may know them as eighth notes. Okay. Okay, so what we're going to try and do is we're going to read that rhythm first of all. Let's just clear off my little scribbles on here. Okay, so reading left to right. First of all, have a little think about what that would do. I'm going to ask you to clap it for me in just a second. Okay, all right then. So here goes. Ready? I'm going to count you in. So I'm going to say 1, 2, ready, go, and then we're going to clap. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, how did you do? Let's try it one more time. Okay, and we're going to use this rhythm and we're going to mix it with the notes that we've just looked at on the piano, and hopefully come up with something quite nice. All right, so here's the rhythm one more time. Here we go from the beginning. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, right. So with that in mind, what we're going to do is go to the piano. And now I've got that rhythm in my mind, I've understood that rhythm. Okay, you can still keep it on screen, of course. I can, instead of just clapping, ba, 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 like that, okay, let's put that rhythm onto the piano. So how about this? So instead of it going 1, 2, and 3, 4, I could go 1. That's a possibility. Another possibility would be, it doesn't matter. I'm picking these notes out pretty much at random. That's the great thing about writing your own music. Let's try again. Oh, I like that. Okay, and now I'm going to play that second bar. Okay, so I'm going to go from the beginning. You'll hear me play the whole of that rhythm. Watch. Okay, so that was a rhythm mixed with the notes of the pentatonic scale that we studied just now. That's called the C pentatonic scale. So how about this? How about if I play a phrase and then you play a phrase, okay? And you can copy what I do, that's fine. If you want to change it slightly, that's also fine. The only thing that you could try and do and try and keep the same is the rhythm, okay? So dum, da, 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 ba, 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 okay? Let me show you how it's going to work. So I would play this. 1, 2, and then you might play. I might play. And then you might play. And don't worry, if you want to stick to 2 notes, that's absolutely fine. You don't have to play lots of different notes. 1 or 2 notes can be just as effective. Just have a look at this. That's just using 2 notes. The nice thing is the rhythm added some interest. Okay, are you ready for this? Let's try this then. Okay, so I'll play a phrase and then I want you to play me an answering phrase. Okay, let's see how you go. We're going to try and keep things nice and slow. Okay, and this is experimentation. We will make mistakes. Don't worry, mistakes are great. Okay, don't be afraid of making mistakes. Okay, that's a great thing. You know, keep playing it and you'll refine your skills as you go. But let's try this. Okay, have a bit of fun with this. All right, so I will try and direct you as I'm playing. So I will say me, and then when it's your turn to play, I will say you, and you'll hear me stop playing. Maybe if I added a left hand to this, how about if I went like this? I'm playing C and G in my left hand. That's quite nice. And then you'd fill in the gaps. Okay, all right. So let's just try this. Okay. Are you ready? I'll start, and then you join in. Okay, using the C pentatonic notes. If you can try and keep to that rhythm that we did, great. Okay, the rhythm that you can see on screen. If you just want to play notes entirely of your choice, fine, no problem at all. Okay, let's try. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, and. Now you'll go. My go. Your go. Okay, how'd you get on? Well, as I said, you know, it may not be perfect first time round, but hopefully what you've learned so far is the C pentatonic scale and how it's possible to take a rhythm and add some notes of a scale to that rhythm to create your own music. Okay, and that's pretty much the way that all composers will start off to work with. Now, there's a reason for introducing you to the pentatonic scale today, and the reason for that is that actually one of the pieces that we're going to learn together uses the exact same scale that I've introduced you to. Okay, it's called Down by the Sally Gardens. Now, you may have heard of this piece of music. It's a very, very old piece of Irish folk music. It's a gorgeous piece of music. I'm going to play it for you first, and I've taken the music from the ABRSM series of graded piano pieces. There are grades 1 to 8 of the ABRSM, and here's the book. Don't worry, I'm not expecting you to have the book right now, okay? For what we're going to do today, you'll see the music on screen. But you may want to buy a copy of this book, or you can go online and download the music for the 3 pieces that we'll be looking at, okay? So you can actually go onto the ABRSM website and download the music for Sally Gardens. We'll put a link in the YouTube and also onto the Facebook Live page after we finish today. But let me play you this. It's an absolutely lovely piece of music. It's very, very simple, but really, really nice. It's really nice, isn't it? And over the next few weeks, we're going to learn that together and go through all the various different things that the piece contains. So to begin with today, we're going to have a look at the right hand, the melody, and we're going to look to see how that C pentatonic scale actually makes up a lot of what you heard me play there. So, taking a look at the first part, this is what the melody looks like at the beginning of the piece of music. So there you'll see the first, well, 4 and a bit bars really of the right hand. And we're going to study that today. We're going to have a look at it. First of all, let's just go through a few of these details at the beginning, just as a refresher. For example, first of all, what's this called here? Yep, it's a G clef, or you may know it as a treble clef. I always call it the G clef. It's essentially meaning that we are reading music for the right hand a lot of the time. That's absolutely fine. What else have we got here? Well, we've got 2 numbers there, 4 over the 4. That's called the time signature. The top number there tells us that we should be counting in 4s. There are 4 beats in every bar, and that a 1 beat note in this music will actually look like this. Here's a 1 beat note. Okay. So looking at the music then, if we have a look at the very beginning, you can see actually it starts off with some silent counts. We've got rests right at the beginning here. We've got this one. That's a 2-beat rest. And following on from that, a 1-beat rest. So if you add 2 to 1, of course, altogether, you've got to count silently for 3 beats. So that means at the beginning, I'd go 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to start. Now, don't forget, when you're learning new music, the best way to learn it is to think about the rhythm first. So with that in mind, let's just clear those annotations away. I would like us to look, not at the whole thing, but let's just draw a big circle over the bit we're going to do first of all. We're going to look at this rhythm here, okay? So we're going to begin by, actually, let's begin, let's make that a little bit easier to work out. We're going to have a look at this first of all. There we go. I circled the rest. I didn't need to. There we go. Sorry about that. We're going to have a look at this rhythm first of all. Okay. Now, what I want you to do is think about, again, those 3 beats at the beginning, silent. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to clap. We're going to clap that bit I've just circled in red. So have a little look at that and try and see if you can work out how you would clap that. Okay, we're going to do it together in just a second. But see if you can think about now how you would read that and how you would clap it. Okay, we've got a mixture there, haven't we, of different rhythms, different note lengths. Okay, well, the answer is going to be this. I'm going to count 3 silent beats at the beginning, and then can you join in with me? Let's see if we can get this to work. Okay, just counting. Nice and slow. Let's try it. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3. Okay, how did you get on? Well, remember that you've got quite a few quavers in there, the half beats. And when we're counting half beats, we would say, for example, 4 and at the beginning there. Okay, have a listen again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. Okay? All right. Okay. So let's try and see if we can now think about the notes on the piano to go with that. What's the very first note that the piece begins with? Let's have a look. Well, the very first note is going to be C, isn't it? Middle C. Okay. And let's have a listen to that phrase. I'll play it for you first. Okay, here's how the phrase should go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and. Okay, did you notice how all those notes were the C pentatonic scale? Look, we've got C, D, E, G, and A. There we go. All right, I'll play it for you again, slightly slower, and then you can join in with me. Okay? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 2 and 3. Okay, I'll do it for you one more time. But before I do, did you notice we've got some finger numbers, haven't we? Can you see that 1 over the E and the 2 over the G? They are fingering, so that means that at that point I'm going to have to use finger 1, my thumb on the E, and also my finger 2 on G. Now, that's a really interesting technique because what you have to do there, if I begin from the start again, thumb on C, there we go. Now I've got to put my thumb on the E, it goes underneath, second finger up to G. Look, a little bit of a stretch there. Interesting. Okay, that phrase one more time. Are you ready? Here we go. Try and play it with me this time, okay? Nice and slow. 1 and 2 and 3 and. Okay, all right. So that's the first phrase. Now, when talking about phrases, how do you know that's a phrase? Well, the answer is, can you see we've got a curvy line here? Let's just clear off this annotation. And the curvy line is here. Can you see this curvy line? I always think of that as sort of like an umbrella, or in this case, an upside down umbrella. All the notes in that umbrella are all one phrase, okay? And they should be played without any break. And you may have noticed that when I played it, it was very smooth. So what we need to aim for there is this style of playing with no gaps in between. And we call that legato, which means, very roughly in Italian, it's a line, okay? Which means that the music should be like one continuous line with no sort of gaps in the middle. What we don't want to hear is this. Can you hear the gaps? Don't need that, okay? And it's the phrase mark that tells us that all those notes there should be joined together. Good, okay. Next phrase. So again, let's just clear off some scribble. Now the next phrase starts here, and we're also going to add in the last note, the one on the second line. Okay. So again, going back to rhythm, we're going to start off by playing the rhythm first of all. We're not going to play from the beginning of the piece. Okay, we're going to begin from where I've circled in red. So let's just very roughly draw an arrow. Sorry, bad drawing on the screen, but there you go. There's my, that should be an arrow. Okay, there's my arrow. We're going to start from there. All right, we're going to clap it. Have a very quick look through. It's similar, but not exactly the same to what you've just done. Okay, so you may have noticed, if you're still looking through that, we have a dotted crotchet, haven't we? Where's the dotted crotchet? Can you see it? Okay, I'll draw around it. Here we go. Dotted crotchet is there. Okay, so in our previous series we did look at dotted crotchets, so you may want to have a look back at some of those lessons. But essentially a dotted crotchet is a note that lasts for 1.5 beats. I'm going to show you how that will be clapped, okay, and then maybe you could join in with me. Okay, here we go. So starting from my arrow, it goes like this, 3 beats in, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3. Okay, did you notice that dotted crotchet? We had 3 and 4 and, okay, with the quaver after it. All right, okay. I'll do it one more time for you, and then you can join in, okay? Back to where the arrow is, clapping that rhythm. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and. Okay? All right, next job. Let's play that. Okay, now, first of all, what's that first note we need in that phrase? Think back to your signpost notes, those 3 signpost notes we did in previous series. Okay, which note's that? Okay, well, the one we need is top C, and we're going to play it with a 5th finger. Okay, and I'll just play it for you. Just follow it through as I play. We're going to start off with a C. So ready, steady, play, and. Did you notice how my 2nd finger went over there? And I knew to do that because I had a finger 2 in the music there. Okay, finger marking. Okay, here's the phrase again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. Okay, a little bit slower. Are you feeling confident? Well, don't worry if you're not. But let's have a go together at that 2nd phrase. All right, let's get 5th finger ready on the top C. Okay, here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, I probably think that the hardest part about that phrase is getting that 2nd finger over, playing the 2nd finger on the D. Okay, that would take practice. And mentioning practice, the best way to learn this little part of music is to do it in phrases. So you learn the first phrase and then practice that a few times. Again, 5 times in a row is always good. And then try the 2nd phrase. Okay, we're going to finish off this little bit by showing you how the 2 phrases fit together. And don't worry, because once these live lessons finishes, you can always rewind it and try it again with me, okay? But here's the first 2 phrases, the whole thing as you see it on the screen, okay? From the beginning. Here we go. We're going to start with thumb on middle C, of course. 3 beats in. 1 and 2 and 3 and. Like that. Good luck with that, okay, and see how you get on. Now, we've got another piece to do today, okay. This one is a lot of fun. It's actually quite historical. It goes back a few hundred years to Elizabethan times, okay. Now, you may not be familiar with all that style of music. I certainly wasn't, but I found this piece, again, in the ABRSM Grade 1 book, okay. It's called Parson's Farewell, okay. It's actually a traditional English piece. If you go on YouTube and type in Parson's Farewell and have a look through the videos, I found a couple of really good instrumental pieces that will give you a real flavour of this. It's a dance. It's a really energetic, lively dance, and that's really the spirit that we've got to try and communicate when we play it. We're going to start learning this together today, but again, let me play it for you first. So again, what we're going to do first of all is take a look at that small section at the beginning in the right hand, the melody, probably the most interesting part, okay? And okay, what should we do with this? Let's again divide this up into, well, actually, I think we could probably do this in 4 bars. If we take it a little bit slowly, okay, let's try this. Again, let's think rhythm, okay, and we're going to try and clap the whole of the 4 bars, okay, bit of a bigger task than before. So have a look at that first. I'll just give you a second or two to try and think about how that would sound. Okay, are you ready? Let's try this, okay? Reading the rhythm. Here we go. All right, from the very beginning. You'll notice the time signature, 4/4. So again, 4 beats in a bar. And let's go from the beginning. Are you ready? I'll count you in with 4 beats. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 okay. All right. Now, what I'd like you to do over the course of the next few days until our next session is to have a look and see if you can work out how you would play this on the piano. Okay. But before I leave you, I'm going to give you a few pointers. Firstly, let's just guide you through some of the notes. So let's take a look first of all at this very first note here. Now we've got a bit of information to look through on this one. Firstly, what finger are you going to use at the beginning? Yep, you're going to use finger 4. Okay, so remember that because we're going to put finger 4 on a particular note in a second. But as well as that, what note are we going to play? Well, again, thinking back to our signpost notes, okay, we know that if we had a note here on the 3rd space up, that would be C. So what we have to do really is count from C and go C, next note up, and then there we go. Okay, so we've got from the C space, the next on the line would be D, the next on the space would be E, so the note we need is F, okay? Alright, so it's an F that we need there. So F with a 4th finger. Okay, we can do that. Okay. Now, hopefully by now you should be a little bit more confident with reading notes on the G clef. Okay, once you've found that first note. Okay, that's the first part. And again, look, we've got later on we've got another finger number. Okay, here it says to play a 2nd finger on C. So if I was again going to play from the beginning, I would do this. And 2nd finger, look, changing my finger but keeping the note the same. Now, this next note here, I'm now at the very last bar. Okay, got to here this time. Can you see we've got a sign next to that C? What does that sign mean? It's a sharp, okay? It's a sharp sign, not a hashtag, it's a sharp, okay? What does that mean? Well, it means you play usually the black key, the right of the note, of the normal note. So in this case, it's not C I need, it's a C sharp. Like that, okay? So, if I play it from the very beginning, okay, and I'd like you to have a little go at this by yourselves, okay, and we'll reconvene next time, alright? So, from the beginning, it goes like this. A 4th finger on F. I'll tell you what I might do is I'm just going to clear off the annotations, just so you've got a nice sort of clean copy to work on screen. Okay, so from the beginning, 4th finger on F. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, play. Okay, see if you can get that for next time. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that, and it's given you a few more new things to think about and to develop your playing further. So I'll see you next time. Good luck and enjoy your music.